I'm thirsty for this green, so bad I'm dehydrating.
I was raised on get chores and learned the game young. Had to pocket with a profit, street funds, and then comes the silver tongue. Street poetic and full grown, skull mask full blown. Step out, I'm well known for my temper. Plus ill balance and true measure. Money orientated mentality, run forever. Came up quick, shit with both knowledge and grit. Flip the negative to positive, monopoly tricks, criminology wit. Turn grams to rubber bands, hood scams, they rob grams of price to feed the fam. Drug money, the root, route, the reason and riddle. Never sold my soul like most to make triple to broke blocks and boardrooms. I orchestrate the middle, pin sharp as a Ginsu. I balance greed on a nickel. From a misfit to mischief, uplifted and equipped. Yo, I'm feared and respected, both sides of the script.
And my mentality is money orientated. I'm destined to live the dream for all my people who never made it. Cause shit, want the whole pie, I won't be denied Nathan. I'm thirsty for this green, so bad I'm dehydrating. And my mentality is money orientated. I'm destined to live the dream for all my people who never made it. Cause shit, want the whole pie, I won't be denied Nathan. I'm thirsty for this green, so bad I'm dehydrating.
So what Dominion actually to me is, it's more of higher powers that usually sovereign govern or remotely control. And we're living in a generation where everything is controlling us. We're not really in control of ourselves anymore like we thought we were. And it's all a mindset thing, and sometimes it feels like, you know, we're trapped through bondage, or we can't escape this cage, or it just makes us feel like we're trapped. But, you know, through with this music, you know, anything you put your mind to can actually set you free. And that's the real secret to getting out of that bondage.
Dominion. Dominion is the representation of Live Crew's first steps into the game. You know, I feel Dominion, it has a lot to do with control, and I feel like with Live Crew, this is us feeling like we're gonna take over. This is our steps into taking over in our own aspect, you know, controlling what we can control. Dominion can also mean reigning over. There's a lot of symbolic representation. It can be biblically, you know, it can be metaphorically, and I think it's kind of just taking over, becoming the true artist that we really want to embody. As far as what Dominion means to me, what it represents. Capital C stems from early, very early childhood, you know, as young as I can remember, maybe 4 years old, 5 years old. I have distinct memories of riding around my dad's truck, the old Chevy, listening to Tupac. Like the first song that I remember that I might have ever heard that was like a rap song was Hail Mary by Tupac. And I gravitated towards all kinds of music, but you know, certain songs, certain artists stuck out. And as I got a little bit older, not even much older, you know, like a few years after that, 7, 8 years old, rap music became a theme in my life. I love the game. I love everything about it. And I think Capital C was a character that I was always creating, and I didn't even know it. I remember I was given the nickname Double C when I was young. People would always call me C. So, like as an artist, when I was thinking of like what would my name be? Who would I be as an artist? You know, C, the letter C. Those are my initials, CC. So somewhere along those lines, I created Capital C, and that's where it all started. Freestyling on corners, freestyling at games, wanted to get in the studio, 12 years old, 13 years old, 14 years old. I was always talking about it, you know, at first it was just fun and games, and then by the time I became a late teenager and adult, that's when it started. It became serious, and I fell in love with it. You know, like my first love was basketball, sports. That's something that I love, but I think that music had always tied into it, rap, rhythm, and poetry. And I loved writing. I loved freestyling, put the two and two together, and that's probably where Capital C comes from. That is where he comes from.
So how Sxulli came to be created was, at first, it started off as a joke, because me growing up, I was a skinny kid. Sure, I had a little bit of muscle, but I'm still skinny. Everyone saw me as a skeleton. I even got picked on. They called me bony. And believe it or not, I actually had a thing for skulls. Not in a creepy way, but more in a way that I think it's kind of cool. Like, that's the only thing I've really been good at drawing. It's cool on the face. People may think that I'm demonic because I wear a skull mask and I talk about violence, but that's not the real goal or, you know, actual image of Sxulli. So what Sxulli was, he was a comic book character that I developed and created at a young age. He was more of a noir detective that solved crimes, but he was a retired ex-cop. Like, he was an ex-cop that went rogue. And he deals with justice in the way he sees fit. But when it comes to music, it's more of a rogue vigilante who's trying to like take justice through music. He's trying to reach out to people who feel like there is no justice in this world and it's just injustice all over. Here to tell you it's not. And how he also came to be was more of a fact that one day I just decided to wear a mask on stage and people actually liked it. And I thought, you know, maybe they might actually like the comic book character that I created when I was a kid. And more of the fact that if I brought him to life on stage, maybe they might see it as that's the comic book character that he drew up when he was young, and not more of a fact that, oh, he's demonic and he likes skulls on his face and that's all he represents is just death. It's like, no, it's the other way around. I promise you, I don't represent death at all. So how Silver Tongue came to be, he's more of the prophetic side of Sxulli. He's the poet, he's the scholar. And you look at Sxulli and all you see is a skull mask, but more so Silver Tongue is another name that I created for myself as, you know, to be more content with my vocabulary and actually slick with the words that I put in my sentences, so that way it's not more of English is broken. Like, his English is actually to a point where you can interpret it and comprehend it. So he's more of a poet / scholar, and he's just the other side, the good side of Sxulli. And Sxulli is basically the darker side of Silver Tongue. So there's two personalities you gotta do with.
Wordplay villain. Like I said, man, in the previous question, I love writing. And since a young age, I love reading. And English is only one language. There's only so many words. You can only go so far. It's really the only language I know. But I tried to master my vocabulary, my vernacular, just the way that I speak in general. So when it came to music, especially writing, I always thought, what's the deepest thing I could say? What's the craziest word I could say that sounds cool? And I think wordplay villain comes from that. Comes a lot from wordplay, twisting rhymes, you know, all different kinds of rhyming, scheming, saying different things that nobody's ever said before. And I remember, shout out to Sxulli. Sxulli is the one that gave me the nickname on stage at our third show, and then it was called Whiskey River, now something else here in town. And he said that was just off the top of the dome, straight from the heart. And ever since then, that's what I went by. That's what we started calling me. That's the alternate ego to capital C. We're performing at the Corn Maze. It was the first time. We're all individual artists. And me, capital C, Sxulli, Mike, at the time 6, he was a producer. And when we pulled up to the Corn Maze, we didn't know who was performing. We didn't know what was going on. That was one of our first shows. And so when we ran into each other as local artists and we saw what we brought to the table, we were just like, wow, I mean, I didn't know that there was other people in this town that can actually rap. And you know, we chopped it up a little bit. We talked about it. Let's link up sometime. Let's collab. Let's do something together. And from there, that's where it all started. And Sxulli has had a major impact on my artistry, you know, on my life. These guys, Live Crew, this is like a brotherhood. It's like family. You know, we're best friends. It's beyond music, but as simply put, as an artist, you know, he's helped me see what music should really be. There's a lot of messages in his art, you know, real stuff coming from struggle, the triumphs. He's a great storyteller. In my opinion, I mean, one of the best storytellers. And just his impact on me has changed me pretty much as a person. It's made me want to grow and become a better person, get away from all the negativity that I've been around, I've surrounded myself with, that I've been dealing with to begin with, and I've been trying to get away from, to even overcome that, shoot through that gap even more.
So Capital C, man, believe it or not, like, I actually did give him the nickname Wordplay Villain on stage one day, because I saw that he actually had potential when it came to his vocabulary. He was just, you know, slick with the bars, man. I mean, like, his punchlines were out of this world, and you knew if his punchline was good because it reached you. Like, there was a few punchlines that he did in his previous songs that made me like question it, but then after hearing it, I was like, wow, like, it felt like he tried it with no effort. Like, he just said that and it just came to his mind. Or maybe he's been waiting to say it. Either way, it's a wordplay that he's creating and he's having fun with. It's more of like a sport to him, that he sees it in a way that he can reach the listener, but more so he can make it creative, if that makes sense. But he's been a major impact on me in the music game there, because there was times where I felt like, you know, I shouldn't be rapping, or I shouldn't even be trying to make these songs, and Cap was always right there telling me and hyping me up, like supporting me, telling me like, no, this is actually really good music, you shouldn't put it off, you should actually release it, or, you know, put that on the album. And I'm not gonna lie, he kind of convinced me. So it's actually good to have that guy around in the group, you know, because he actually has done a lot of good work along with Mike. They've both been putting in a lot of good work and efforts into what we're doing here, and I feel like it's actually going to reach out to a lot of people.
There's plenty of artists, but from early age, you know, the two most known artists who kind of ran the game back then, Pac and Biggie, were a big influence on me, just because that's what my parents showed me. I would also say next, right after that, Tribe Called Quest. That was who I gravitated more so to, just because of their style and the influence. And I started to educate myself more, and there's been plenty of artists. I like Immortal Technique for the message that he puts out there. I would say Wiz Khalifa, Kid Cudi. I like those guys just because they're stylish, they're flashy, they're really new age. Andre 3000 is another one. Kanye West, I think, is huge, because at the time when I was growing up, he was that dude, you know, 2000s. Kind of went crazy, but kind of went overboard. But I still think, other than that, like, I like his music. There's a lot of them, but those are some of the main ones.
So growing up, my mom, when she was pregnant with me, she actually listened to Nas a lot when she was in her teenage years. And when she finally had me, that's all she listened to was just straight Nas, like that New York rap, that East Coast boom bap. And, you know, the first album, Illmatic, caught me by surprise, because I didn't know who this guy was, but I actually liked the flow. And then I grew up listening to It Was Written, and it turns out a lot of the songs that he was saying in there spoke a lot of really deep messages that I wanted to decipher as an artist. So then I got older and realized that there was more artists out there. So I started to lean and shift my energy towards Wu-Tang Clan AZ Quiet Money, and Big L. You know, they were major influences in the game to me because of the way that they got their message out. It wasn't more of the fact that they were just trying to talk their shit or they were just trying to talk mess on the microphone. They were more trying to get their message heard. And that to me is what inspired me to become an artist. Because if they can actually tell a story through their poetry, they can actually relay a message through their rhyming, and it actually reaches to a lot of people. I mean, you can't tell me that poetry ain't art.
When I first started making music as an artist, before I became an actual artist, it was kind of just for fun. And now it's serious. Now I study the game, I study the laws, everything about it, the rules. If there is rules to the game, you know, there's a mastery behind it that I want to try to attempt to conquer, and it's beyond what I can explain, but I've done a lot for myself in this journey, like taking that step. Really, I think it was just all fun and games, and now I actually have a process. I know what I'm doing when I get in the studio as far as writing, recording, freestyling, making content. It's what I love to do, but it's also what I do. It's something that I want to have a career in. So I would say I've grown tremendously from the first steps I've taken.
So after dropping this album and with many more music to come in the future, I really hope that the music that we're putting out today, it's not more of as entertainment. Because yes, sure, we make entertainment music that will get you to groove, that'll get you to sit there in your car, smoke up and light up to. But more of the music that I see happening in the future when we release is to reach the younger generation, because there's a lot of young cats today where they feel like they gotta play a certain image, that you gotta look tough in order to be tough. And that's not what we're trying to do here in our music. It's more of being yourself and respecting others just as you want the same respect onto you. And it's more of how the listener is going to react to it and how they're going to take it. Because at the end of the day, it all shapes our mindset, how we take it and we receive it. So with our music, I hope it reaches the younger generation to letting them know that there is hope for whatever they do, that they can chase this. And we're not trying to get them to follow us because, we're just artists who make music. If you really want to follow somebody, follow Christ. It's the only way. He's the only way. We may just be artists who are, answering our calling, or, just doing this to reach a lot of young fans. But I see our music actually impacting a generation to where they can use their minds. They can actually think for themselves. They don't gotta, listen to the approval of others, because that's how, mostly life is like today. We seek validation through, quick approval from other people. But through our music, it's not like that. And hopefully it reaches people where they need to know you don't have to be approved by everybody. You don't have to be liked by everybody. But there's always one person that does believe in you. And you're making that person proud every time.
I want to speak positivity. I want to lead with positivity in my actions, in my words, in my influence. Not even with what I say, but how I say it, be meaningful. I want to influence them with God, with Christ. I just want to be the best possible person I can, grow with my music as an individual, because it's beyond the music, it's more than music, but it's all connected, it's tied in together. So I see whatever I do, I'm going to go as hard as I can in it. I'm going to put everything I got into it, especially if I love it. I don't even have to love it, but with music, I love it. It's a passion of mine, And those are the things that I want to reflect and project onto the youth is passion, love, peace, positivity, and also the reality of things, you know, the struggle, the realness, the truth. And I'm still learning in all those things, but I'm still learning knowledge and knowing what the real truth is in reality. So it's not always going to be sunshines and rainbows. It's not always going to seem so positive, but that is the reality of it. What do we do though? We're shooting for the top. You don't not try to shoot for the top. So in saying that, that's what I want to leave with the youth. I mean, try to be the highest version of yourself. Try to be the best you can. Don't try, do it.
So, you know, people have actually been asking us, like, when are we going to drop the album? When is it going to be released? How come you guys haven't been promoting as much? Well, to be honest, you know, life does kind of catch up and creep on you, and there's nothing you can do about it. You just got to roll with the punches. But to update you on the album, so far, instead of us doing the 25 songs that we originally agreed to, you know, we came to a conclusion where we think it's best if we shorten it up. Could be 15 to 16 songs, we don't know for sure, but it's around that number. We don't want to give you an estimated number and then you guys just go along with it, give your release date, and then you guys are still waiting. Again, we don't blame you guys for being impatient. We also just appreciate that you guys actually stayed with us from day one. You've actually been listening to our music still, and you know, it's just a really good, you know, feeling that we actually have made an impact on most of our listeners today, which are either older than us, our age, or even younger than us.
Yeah, with that being said, we do have a lot in the vault. You know, we weren't not working during all that time. That was probably the holdup. Constantly working, wanting to perfect this album for us, for y'all, you know, really for y'all. This is what we love to do. We will be dropping a single every week until the album drops. With that being said, we have a lot in the vault. Some of them, they may have not made the album cut, but you're still gonna hear them. And yeah, I mean, I hope y'all are ready.
So to add on to what he said, he is right. We are going to be releasing a few singles at least every other week, so that way we can stay in motion and we really don't lose, you know, kind of the cycle that we've been going through, because believe it or not, we actually have been through a dry spell with releasing music. We get that, we understand that. But we just want to say thank y'all for being patient with us, man. Like, you know, this is not only our dream since we were kids, but it's also something that we're manifesting in, so that way the younger generation can have more music, something to actually look forward to if they're chasing that poetry dream. Because you never know, you might just have it in you, or you might not. Rap's not a game for everybody, but if you have it in you, use it.
Yeah, we just again want to thank y'all for all the support up until this point, from before our first shows, from family, friends, everyone that pushed us to continue on with our dream. And again, y'all do the same. If there's somebody out there that really wants this dream, that really wants to attack this journey, go for it. And we want to be living proof of that. So we're thankful to God, thankful to everybody for all the support, you know, on the music and in our journey. And we're going to keep going. We're going to keep trucking, and Dominion is going to hit as hard as it sounds. So stay with us. Stay tuned. For real.
Yes, sir. So previous fans have asked us what this new project, Dominion Chapter 25, is actually going to mean, or what is the theme. Well, as much as I want to spoil the entire theme for you, there wouldn't be much of a surprise. So I will leave you with a few breadcrumbs. It more is dealing with inner conflicts, you know, the desires, worldly pleasures that we're actually, you know, used to doing every day, or how it becomes a habit or an addiction. And sometimes it may feel like you're lost, or it may make you feel like you're distant from God. But to tell you the truth, you know, as far as we are from God, God's never far from us. And this album is also dedicating that to our creator, because I mean, without him, we wouldn't have this talent to be even making music. And there's a lot of fans out there like, you guys are religious. It's not more of that. It's more of the fact that we're righteous through Christ. And we're trying to reach out to other fans, and you may think like, oh, well, he's a hypocrite because he smoked weed in his past, or, you know, they still live that lifestyle. All I can really say is, there's always one person out there in this world who can relate to you, your certain situation, or your circumstance. And so with this album, that's what we're trying to do, is to relate to you guys, to let you guys know that you're not alone in this. That through worldly powers, you know, worldly desires and pleasures, sometimes it may feel like it has dominion over us. But it doesn't. That's the one thing you can't let control you, is letting dominion control and rule over you. It has no say.
Yo, y'all don't forget, follow us on all social media platforms at LiveCrewTX. On all streaming platforms, it's just gonna be Live Crew. Stick with us now, man. Live Crew got it going up.
So with that being said, to come into conclusion, Sxulli and Capital C.
Live Crew, we out.
You can say you hate me, I know that you like me, baby, good luck forgetting me. You can say you hate me, I know that you want me, baby, good luck forgetting me. You can say you hate me, I know that you love me, baby, good luck forgetting me. You can say you hate me, I know that you want me, baby, good luck forgetting me.
I'm so high, I can't deny. Chillin' with a vibe, yeah, she my dolo bride. Hit me with a bribe, since that I'm despised. Pull the 45 till you fucking mind.